Hi, folks. Welcome to We Be Fishing, the viewable podcast version right here on YouTube. We're a spin-off version of the B&T Catfishing Adventures channel, and we are glad you joined us today. Now, here on B&T and here on We Be Fishing, we talk about more than just catfishing. We talk about all different types of fishing, and today we're jumping way out there. We're talking about saltwater fish and the problems with our oceans. That's right. It is an issue that we really need to look at. Now, not all of us fish in the ocean, and I think, however, that most of us probably do eat fish, shrimp, lobster, crab, and so on from the ocean. So it is something that we definitely need to take a look at. Again, glad you joined us today. If you haven't joined us and subscribed to our channel, be sure to do that. If you subscribe to the channel, you not only get We Be Fishing, you get the B&T Catfishing Adventures as well. So it's a 2-for-1. Again, let's get into this. I started looking at this, and it really concerned me, and it also made me think and want to do this topic because Miss Tammy and I were driving down the road the other day, and we saw what normally has always been farmland, and now it's being turned into a residential area. Well, it's understandable. People do need places to live, and towns do have a tendency of growing. That's quite understandable. However, every time they do that, that means less farmland to produce the foods for us and or livestock and so on. And so it's a bit concerning when you see so much of the acreage get sold off for shopping centers and restaurants and so on. So I started just doing my reading as I do and researching on different things about fishing, and came across this topic, and it kind of is on both sides here. I mean, our oceans are our gardens, are our farms, and we have to take care of them. We get much of our food from the ocean and our rivers, and we need to take care of them. Now, the report that I saw, and I've looked this up in a couple of different things, and I'm not going to go into all the places I looked in the research things. There's enough information out there that you guys can do that yourself if you're really interested in this topic. But it's saying our oceans and the fish in our oceans, it is not enough to sustain us at the level in which we eat them past 2048 or 2050. Now, I don't know if that, is still part of my lifetime. I hope I make it to part of that anyway. But many of you will. And, and that's concerning. Now, that does not mean that every fish in the ocean is going to be gone. But what that means, it's not viable enough for these fishermen to get out there and fish in their boats to make enough catches to make a living off of it. And also, there won't be enough fish at the levels that we're taking them at right now to sustain the population of people on the planet at our current levels. It's just not going to be enough the way it's done. Now, much of this right now is due to pollution of our oceans that are killing our fish. But another thing that is the problem, and a big problem, if not even more of a problem, is overfishing. That's right. The commercial fishermen are overfishing many times, which means a lot of this fish is going to waste. Now, so what does this mean? I mean, how can we help here? Do we put more regulations on dumping in our oceans, so on and so forth, and so on? Or do we put more restrictions on our commercial fishermen? All right. Again, these people have to make a living. We understand that. But maybe they reduce the numbers in which they catch. If they do that, that also means the price of our fish will go up. Okay, but that's part of it. It is the supply and demand there. Now, for instance, let me tell you another reason. Some people are saying, the ocean has enough fish. It's going to sustain us forever. There's more water than there is land. Circumference on this planet, we should be fine. For instance, let me explain something. Orange roughy is a delicacy fish, a fish that's on the higher side to be paid for. It's really delicious, really good. And some places have banned fishing for orange roughy, and or put very big restrictions on fishing for that fish. Now the problem is in orange roughy, for them to reach maturity to where they're reproducing takes 20 to 40 years. Think about that. 20 to 40 years you're fishing these fish out before the offsprings of one of those fish can start reproducing again. All right. So some of us, that's only, a couple of fish in a lifetime that start reproducing. If it's 40 years old before they start reproducing, that's 80 years right there. And that's a lot. And now these fish can live over 100 years old. So that part is helpful. All right, that they do live a longer period of time. But it's only helpful if we're not catching them all and we're giving them plenty of time to reproduce. But that's the problem. They've been overfished so much that it's becoming an issue, and the numbers are greatly reduced. Now, another thing, bluefin tuna. Now, bluefin tuna is a wonderful fish, and one fish was large enough one time that it brought in several millions of dollars. Several millions, that's right. Now, that fish was over 1,000-something pounds, and it was sold in Japan. And again, the bluefin tuna is one that's used highly in sushi and sashimi, and it can be big money. Now, the thing is, it's become very popular all over the world. And people knowing that these things are very expensive, very valuable to catch. And, there's more people out there that have fished them. Now, the information I found, and I found sources that say, that there's only about 25,000 up to maybe 1 million, if we're lucky, left in the oceans right now that are adult size, mature, and so on and so forth. Okay. Now, the fish usually, a lot of times they're harvested around 500 pounds, but a lot of them are closer to around the 200 pounds. Now, getting to the size of the 200 pounds, it takes 10 years. 10 years for that fish to get 200 pounds. Okay. Now, again, while they can get over 1,000 pounds, a lot of times the larger ones that they're catching right now is an average of around 500 pounds. People are very happy to be catching 500-pound bluefin tuna. Now, we look at this and it's saying, again, we wonder what we can do, especially when, for instance, Asia is the biggest population of people to eat fish, or that they eat more fish. Okay. Now, for instance, China is a big place, and they have been forever the biggest population of people on the planet until just recently, where India has now surpassed them. But Asia in general, the whole area there, it's a lot of fish. Now, let me break this down for you. For instance, we think about this. China on an annual basis eats and brings in 65 million tons of fish. 65 million tons. That's a lot of fish. That's a lot of fish. Now, the European Union actually ranks second with about 13 million tons. And then little old Japan itself, of course, it's an island, and of course, what are they going to do? They're going to eat a lot of fish. Now, they're at 7.4 million tons, just right there. Now, one fish that's pretty well safe out there is mackerel. Mackerel, a lot of times, if you are somebody that eats sushi, then you can understand. For the people that never have eaten sushi and don't want to, mackerel is more of the taste and the smell that you think sushi is going to be like. It's about the only one that really is. All the other ones taste nothing and smell nothing like what you would think, except for the mackerel. So needless to say, the mackerel that's on the list is one of the safer fish. Now, Chilean sea bass and things like that, and shark and all these things, numbers are way down. But the mackerel is doing just fine, okay? They're a healthy fish. They're spreading out into other areas, and they're thriving. They're doing well. So there are fish to catch. There are fish to eat out there if you're willing to do it. Now, most people that are going to get the mackerel are probably going to cook it. But I do like it as sushi from now and then. So, 2048 to 2050, folks, that's right around the corner, right? It's right around the corner that sustainable fishing, or the amount of fishing it's doing right now to sustain the population on the planet, it's not going to be viable if at the levels. So what do we need to do? Do we need to take some of these fish here in America off the list for our charter captains to be able to catch out there, our commercial fishermen, just so we allow the population to grow? Now, king crab, for instance, Russia puts out a lot and so on and so forth, but their population is declining a lot. And Russia and different places, they want you to get them from Alaska. Well, Alaska and Russia are like right here. They're like close there, side by side almost, just miles apart. Many people don't know that, but they're pretty much the same area. But, they would rather you eat the Alaskan and leave theirs alone because the population is being depleted of the king crab out there. Now, again, shrimp population, lobster, all these fish are being reduced. Now, we, again, have a issue trying to fathom all this, trying to let all that sink in. But we need to look at now our rivers, lakes, and streams here in the U.S., for instance. Many of us know a lot of our big fish are gone. There's some obviously still out there, but the numbers are definitely being reduced. And maybe commercial fishermen, maybe it's just regular fishermen, because the number of people fishing now has picked back up, especially around COVID. It did. Now it's starting to slow back down. But a lot of fishing has been done in our lakes and rivers, and our numbers in some of these areas are really being reduced. Now, this is when our, Fish and Wildlife or Department of Natural Resources really need to come in and take a good look at the fish we catch, the number of fish we catch, the size limit we catch, and so on. But also, just like there, our rivers, lakes, and so on have been heavily polluted. We are not doing a good job. Now, I'm not one of these people that are tree huggers, that get out there, environmentalists that really push every little issue, so on and so forth, and complain about everything. But I think we can look at the contaminants in our water and with common sense realize that there is an issue when our consumption levels, our warning and consumption levels on fish put out by our Fish and Wildlife people tell us you can only eat this fish twice in a month because of the potential dangers, then that's an issue. All right. We need to do a better job. We need to do a better jobs in our oceans, and we need to do a better jobs in our lakes and rivers and so on. Folks, I don't know all the answers. I don't know if you do. If you do, I would like to hear some of them. I would like you to maybe think about this subject more. If you know a congressman or you have the direct ear of somebody higher up that has some effect on implementing things, whether it's, regulating the amount of pollutions and restrictions on stuff, even if it is an individual business where you can talk to the corporation there, that organization, whatever, the head CEO, and get them to think maybe there are ways we can reduce our responsibility and by polluting less out there, then that can make a change. All right. And anything we can do to help, because we need to do a better job managing our water. This fish is not just for a recreational sport. It is to keep people alive. And we need to do a better job on our oceans, rivers, and lakes, just like we need to do a better job on our farmland, folks, because we have to eat to stay alive so we can do more fishing. That's right. Well, thanks for joining me today. I just found this topic interesting. I hope you did too. It is concerning. And again, so if there's anything you guys can do out there to help on this or make suggestions, I would love to hear them, or contact your congressman or local officials or whatever. Sometimes we can even get things working within the towns and communities you live in so they themselves can do a better job in your area, which could help everyone. Again, folks, thanks so much for watching. We do appreciate it. Be sure to subscribe if you haven't done that already. Again, by doing so, you get not only the We Be Fishing, but the B&T Catfishing Adventure Show as well. Folks, take care. Have a wonderful day, and we hope to see you right back here again and next time on We Be Fishing.